Okay, so this is just a full body workout session. We're going to move a little bit of everything. So we're going to start lying down. So lie down on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat. So just noticing anywhere that you're holding tension. And just see if you can allow your body to just let go of that. So just take some deep breaths. Scanning through and check. So, maybe check your jaw. Make sure you're not clenching your teeth. Check your shoulders. Can you reach your shoulders away from your ears if they're up around your ears? Let your ribs relax down. Arms heavy into the mat. Back of your pelvis heavy. And just take some breaths there. And then we're going to start to move a little bit. So take your arms out to the side. Let's have palms facing up towards the ceiling to roll your chest and shoulders open. Bring your feet and knees together. We're going to go into a spine twist. So take a breath. And as you exhale, allow both knees to roll to one side. Inhale as you come through center and exhale over the other way. Just keep going from one side to the other. And you're just starting to allow things to move. So just do what feels nice to you. Kind of exploring any areas of tension or tightness. And you can make this move as big or as small as you like. No rules with this first one because we just want to get everything moving. From here we're going to go into our windscreen wipers. So as your legs come into the centre this time, take your feet wide to the edges of your mat, and it's the same thing. As you exhale, both knees roll to one side. Inhale through centre and exhale over. Let your head go where it's comfortable, so maybe your head wants to roll the opposite side to your knees, or maybe you're just happy keeping your head still in the centre. And then as you come through centre this time, you're going to bring your knees into your chest, take hold of your knees and just rock gently side to side. So give your lower back a little bit of a massage into the mat. Just, again, getting rid of any tension, any tightness there. From here we're going to go into knee circles. So one hand on the top of each knee, open the knees wide and circle around. So again, you can make this as big or as small as you like. And then reverse and go the other way. And as you pull your knees back into your chest this time, allow one leg to come down onto the floor. You can have your leg out long or knee bent, it's up to you. And then your other leg you're going to really pull deep in towards you, getting a real deep stretch into your hip. Real deep knee bend. And then we're going to straighten that leg up towards the ceiling. Get that leg as straight as you can and keep hold of it. And then point and flex your foot here. Trying to get the movement through your ankle rather than just your toes. I'm really naughty for letting my toes do all the work. So make sure it's the ankle. And then start to circle your foot around in one direction. And then again, let's reverse that and go the other way. Notice how it's moving. And then just pull that knee back into your chest again, pull it deep in. And then we're going to just switch sides. So let that leg come down and bring the other knee in. Again, pulling it in as deep to your chest as you can. But notice if your bottom's wanting to lift, try and keep your bottom anchored on the mat as you pull that knee in. And then again, let's straighten that leg to the ceiling and pull it towards us. Point and flex your foot. Again, that movement's coming from your ankle joint, not just your toes. And then let's circle our foot around. and reverse and go the other way. Good. And then pull your knee back into your chest again, give it a good hug. And then releasing that leg, let's take the feet into a cobbler stretch. So soles of the feet together, knees roll out to the sides, and reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Interlace your fingers and turn your hands over, pressing your hands to the ceiling to stretch. Fingers, palms. And then we're going to start to take those arms overhead towards the floor behind you without letting your ribs lift. Couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, slowly bring your hands back up. Bring your fingers apart, give your fingers a wriggle. Get as much space between your fingers as you can. And then let's circle the wrists around. And reverse that, let's get the other way. Good. And then when you've done all of your hands, we've only got two, we've done both, you're going to lower your arms down. We're going to roll onto our side for the crocodile stretch. So coming down onto your side, onto your head if you feel like you need something there. Otherwise you've got your arms out long in front of you and knees bent. When you're ready, we're going to reach that top arm forwards and then it's going to reach up towards the ceiling. Start to allow your upper body to twist, but knees stay down on the floor as you take that arm back behind you. Just take it as far as you can comfortably go and then hold it and take some deep breaths. And then we're going to start to slowly bring the arm all the way back up and close the crocodile mouth. We'll do that again. When you're ready, reach that top arm forwards. Take it up towards the ceiling. Open out. Again, just take it as far as you can comfortably go. You still want to be able to breathe and speak. See if you can find more softness there. Can you let your shoulders be as relaxed as possible? And again, when you're ready, start to slowly bring your arm all the way back up and over. We're going to do one more time on this side. So when you're ready, open out again. Top arm reaches for the ceiling and opens out. Just a last couple of breaths here. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, start to slowly bring that arm back up and over. But before you go over and do the other side, you're just going to roll onto your back. Just bringing your knees into your chest. And again, just rolling out any tension before you do the other side. Alright, and then when you're happy, you're going to roll onto your other side. Again, bottom arm is out long in front, top arm on top and knees bent. Always got that option to grab a cushion if you need something under your head. And again, when you're ready, reach that arm forwards, reaching it towards the ceiling, and then start to take that arm back, keeping your knees down on the floor, but rotating your rib cage away. Maybe it's different on this side, maybe you can get further on this side, or maybe it's tighter on this side, but just notice any difference. Again, seeing if you can find more softness, and try not to hold tension. When you're ready, let's take that arm back up, and all the way over. And then we're going to go again, reach that arm up. Open out as far as you can comfortably go. So remember, knees stay down. So your pelvis hasn't moved. It's just your rib cage that's twisted away. So you've got a big twist through your waist. And when you're ready, slowly close the crocodile. And then do one more time. Good. And when you're ready, start to slowly bring your arm all the way back up and over. Onto your back again. Just again, give your knees a little hug. And rock gently side to side. Okay. And then we're going to take our feet down. So feet and knees are hip width apart, knees are bent. And we're going to take our arms up towards the ceiling, palms are facing in towards each other. And we're going to reach one leg out long and the opposite arm out long. So you're going to slide one leg out along the mat, and at the same time you're going to allow the opposite arm to reach overhead. So really stretch your fingers and toes as far away from each other as you can, and then you're going to slowly pull them both back into the centre. And you're going to switch and do the same on the other side. So let's inhale. As we reach that arm and leg away, really stretch, make them as long as you can, and then exhale as you pull back in through centre. Keep going, keep switching sides. So you're noticing if your body has to really shift, excuse me, your body weight is really shifting. Are you kind of rocking and rolling, or can you keep yourself really stable and really still? And then we're going to progress this a little bit. So as you bring back into centre this time, you can absolutely carry on with that you've just been doing, or bring your legs into tabletop, and then we're going to take it into the same movement, so opposite arm, opposite leg, and you're just going to lengthen that leg out long, and then pull it back in through centre. So reach in, arm and leg, and pull back in through centre. Inhale to reach and exhale. Now if at any time you feel like your abdominals are like bulging up and you're kind of bracing, then just pop your feet back down onto the floor, because that's never a good sensation to have, and it just means you've kind of gone beyond your boundary at which your abdominals are just able to hold at the minute, and there's no benefit there. You're just going to create more tension and more stress. So let's do one more on each side. And then as your legs come in this time, again give your knees a little hug, and let's just rock gently side to side, giving your abdominals a little break. So feet are going to come back down onto the floor this time. Arms reach up to the ceiling again, palms are facing in towards each other. Now this time we're going to drop one knee out to the side, and the opposite arm is going to also drop out to the side. I shouldn't say drop out, it's very controlled, and come back in through centre. So as you inhale, you're taking one arm out, you're taking one knee out, and as you exhale, you're pulling back in through centre. Again, your body is super still, so you're not rocking side to side. Those abdominals, as you exhale and you pull your arm or leg back in, are working super hard to hold everything nice and still. Ribs stay down, back of the pelvis anchored. Alright, and then again we can progress this to legs in tabletop, so either stay with feet down or find that tabletop position, and it's the same thing. One knee drops out to the side, arm reaches out to the side, and come back in through centre. So you might need to be a little bit more mindful of the position of your pelvis, because it's really easy as your knee goes out to the side for your pelvis to rock and to tip to one side. So maybe make the movement quite small to begin with until you've kind of got that, yeah, I'm not moving here. And of course, the closer your knees are into your chest, the easier it is. So if you want to challenge yourself, you can take your legs a little bit further away so that your knees are over your hips, and that's more of a challenge again for your abdominals. Sometimes it's more of a brain challenge even than a body challenge. All right, let's do one more on each side. And then as you come back in through centre again, knee hug, rock side to side. We're going to go back into that spine twist, but we're going to do it with our knees in tabletop or legs in tabletop. So let's take the arms out to the side again, palms facing up so chest and shoulders are rolled open. Pull your knees into your chest, really pull them in deep, and then let's just rock side to side here. So again, this is kind of the easiest, the most relaxed way. You're not having to particularly work your abdominals too much here. But if you take your knees so that your knees are over your hips and you're in that full tabletop position, then it's more work for your abdominals. So have a little play with that. Use your breath again. So as you inhale, legs go out to the side. As you exhale, pull back in through center. You want to be coordinating the abdominals with the work, and in this case it's pulling the knees back in through center. Can you find this work in your abdominals? So rather than leading with the legs, think about as your legs have gone to one side, you're using your abdominals to pull them back in through center. Just kind of changes it a little bit. So it takes it away from being a nice little stretch to more of a deep abdominal exercise. Again, let's do one more to each side. And then give your knees a little hug just again. Bringing the knees into the chest, giving the knees a hug just releases any tension through your abs and allows your back to release into the mat. We're going to go into a spine curl next. So feet are down onto the floor, hip width apart. And then we want the backs of the arms down on the floor. So have your palms facing down. Making sure you've got nothing under your head for this one. Take a breath. Tilt your pelvis towards you, and as you exhale, you're going to roll your hips up towards the ceiling. Keep your eyes on the ceiling to keep your neck in good alignment, and pause at the top to take a breath. And then exhale and roll your spine back down. So take your time. We're going to do a few of those. So you take a breath in, and as you exhale, you roll it up. Pausing at the top. Taking a breath, and then again you exhale as you roll down. Noticing which bits of your spine are in contact with the mat as you roll it up and as you roll back down. And you're looking for any areas that don't come all the way down to make contact. And those are the areas that you're a little bit stiff through your spine, probably holding a little bit more tension. So see if you can try and get those to smooth out. Think about that movement like a wave. Rippling up your spine and then back down. Again, coordinating it with the breath. So you don't want to make it so rigid that you're having to really think about it. You want to just start to let your body move. As you come up to the top of that spine curl this time, I want you to hold it there and see if you can let your ribs drop down anymore. So ribs are going to drop down towards the mat, but at the same time, can you lift your hips a little bit higher to the ceiling? Let's see if there's any more there. Can you drop your ribs even more and lift your hips even higher? Let's try that one more time. Can you drop your ribs even more and lift your hips to the ceiling? Take a breath and then exhale and slowly, slowly roll all the way back down. And then we're going to lengthen the legs out long, take your arms overhead and just stretch from fingertips to toes. Make yourself as long as you can. We're going to roll onto our side for the clown next. So when you're ready, roll onto your side. And then find a position for your head. You can either have your arm bent or your arm out long with your head resting. Knees are bent in front and feet roughly in line with your spine. So take a moment to make sure that your pelvis is level. So your top hip bone should be directly over your bottom one. And then feet stay together as you open out that top knee. So pelvis doesn't move. Think about your hip bones pointing directly ahead. And this is where we imagine that we've got a drink balanced on our hip, so we don't want to be tipping that drink behind us. Good, keep going. Feet stay together and knee opens out. Making sure here again that you aren't like reaching your ribs forward, so ribs want to stay in, kind of ribs and pelvis are level. Good. And then when it starts to hurt and you start to feel it, you always do 5 more. We're going to do 2 more. We're going to do the last one. All right, and then we're going to lower the leg down, and then we're going to keep the bottom leg on the mat, and we're going to lift that top leg. The whole top leg is going to lift, keeping that bent position and lower. So we're going to lift and lower that top leg. Again, trying to keep your pelvis nice and still. Good. 2 more like this. And then we're going to lift that top leg to about hip height, and then we're going to turn the knee to point towards the ceiling. So you're turning your thigh out, and then you're going to turn your thigh in, so the knee's going to point to the floor. Knee points to the ceiling, knee points to the floor. So you're turning that leg in and out, that internal and external rotation of the hip socket. And it's hard work because we're also holding the weight of the leg, but it's good. Good. And last one. All right, and then bringing your leg back in through center, lower that top leg down. We're going to keep the knees down, and we're going to float the feet up, and we're just going to go back to that normal climb again here. Good. Last 2. Last one. Lower it down. Whew. Let's come up to seated and just give it a little stretch out. So the leg you've just been working is the one that you bring in. Cross it over the other side and sit as tall as you can. And then twist towards your bent leg, and you can use your free arm to pull that knee in towards your chest. You can keep your other leg out long in front, or if you can bring that foot around the side. Just gets a little bit deeper into the hip, but do whatever feels comfortable for you, and whichever's giving you the best stretch there today. Couple more breaths here. And then we're going to do that little climb series on the other side. So, onto the other side. So again, find the position that works for you. So knees bent in front, feet roughly in line with your spine. Check your pelvis, hip bones stacked on top of the other. And then we're going to keep the feet together as we open out that top knee. Making sure it's not rolling back, because it might be different on this side to the other side. Good. Check those ribs. Is it hurting yet? I'm going to do 5 more. Alright, and then as you lower your leg down, after that 5th one, you're going to lift the whole top leg and lower it down. So we're lifting and lowering, still in that bent position, keeping your pelvis still. Last 2. Last one. And then lift into hip height, and again we're going to turn the knee to the floor and to the ceiling. So turning that thigh bone in and out in your hip socket. Is it different on this side? Last one. Oh, and then lower it down. Knees are going to stay down on the mat. We're going to float the feet up, and we're going to do a little more of those clams. So opening the knees out, feet stay together. Last 2. Last one, and lower it down. Oh. And if it hurts here, you know that you're using the right muscles. Let's stretch them out. So again, come up to seated. And the leg out long, the leg you've just been working comes in and crosses over to the other side. Sit tall and then twist in towards that bent leg. Use your other arm to scoot the knee in towards you. And again, leg can stay out long or it can come around to the side if you prefer. And just take a couple of breaths there. Okay, we're going to do our strap stretch now. Let's give those legs a little bit of a stretch out now. So grab your strap and then lie yourself down. So pop the strap around the ball of your foot and have your other leg out long. So the leg in the strap wants to be as straight as possible and let it be as heavy as possible. So that leg is just hanging in the strap and you're supporting it with your arms. If your strap is long enough, you can let your elbows rest down on the floor. If your strap's not long enough and you're finding it's creating a lot of tension, you can kind of wrap your strap around your hands and then just let your arms hang, so the weight of your arms is kind of holding your leg there. And just take some deep breaths. Try and let everything be as relaxed as you can. And then if it feels okay for you, we're going to bring that leg across your body, so it's coming across the midline, but you're not letting your whole body tip, so you're not allowing your pelvis to roll to one side. You're still keeping your pelvis anchored, but you've just brought your leg across. So it's stretching out those lateral hip muscles that we've just been working with all of that little climb series that we did. Let's take the leg back in through centre, slightly turn it out from the hip and take it out to the side. So we're only going to take it out as far as we can maintain that pelvis again, nice and anchored. If you go too far and your hip starts to lift, then you're getting a twist through your spine, and we just want to be releasing tension in that inner thigh here. Again, it's great for your hip mobility. It's a good stretch for your inner thigh. When you're ready, we're going to bring that leg back in through centre, and we're just going to switch and pop the strap on the other leg. So same thing, free leg is out long. The leg in the strap is heavy, pulling the front of the foot towards you, pressing your heel away. And try and let go of any tension. So check in and notice, do you have tension in your jaw? Are you clenching your teeth? Are you frowning? Can you let your face relax? Can you let your shoulders relax? So notice if the shoulders have snuck up around your ears. Check in with your rib cage. Just notice. And because this leg is in the strap, you don't need to be gripping through the front of this thigh, so this leg can be fairly floppy and relaxed. If it feels okay, bring that leg across your body, so again across the midline, stretching into that outer hip. And then bring it back in through centre, slightly turn out from the hip joint and take your leg out to the side, but again, don't let your whole body go with it. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly bring that leg back up through centre, and then we're going to get rid of the strap. So you can take your strap away and just pop it down. And then take a moment to stretch here. So arms reach out overhead, legs out long, and stretch from your fingertips to your toes. Again, make yourself as long as you can. Think about all of that extra space that you can create through your body. And then we're going to go into the crescent stretch. So walk your legs to the right. And then then walk your arms and upper body also to the right, so you're in that kind of banana shape. Now, you only want to go far enough so that you can feel a stretch down the left side of your body. And then if you want to, you can cross your left ankle over your right. And then with your right hand, you can grab your left wrist and just give it a pull, just to, again, give you a little bit more stretch. Taking some deep breaths, focus your breath on that left side of your rib cage. See if you can really get those ribs to expand. And even though we're stretching, and even though we're in this position, we don't want to be creating lots of tension. So again, check your jaw. Make sure you're not frowning. Can you soften your body, even though we're in this very strange position? Can you allow your body to find some softness, some relaxation, and to sink down into the mat? The more relaxed your body is, the more release it's going to give through your muscles. Alright, and then when you're ready, release your arms first. Uncross your legs. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So walk your legs to the left. Take your arms up and overhead again. And then arms and upper body also to the left. Again, just go far enough so that you can find that stretch. And then you can stay here, or you can cross your right ankle over your left. And then with your left hand, you can grab your right wrist and just give it a pull. Again, focus your breath onto that right side of your rib cage. Can you get a real good stretch there? Have the muscles between your ribs. And then again, just checking for tension. Can you find some more softness now through your body? I think we push our body so much, and a lot of the times when we exercise, it's almost like we're punishing our body for the things that we've eaten, or to make it be stronger, or to kind of force it into submission. And sometimes you just need to slow down and just give your body what it needs, and that's just to stretch and to move in a way that kind of benefits it and allows it to find its natural alignment, because when things are where they should be, your body works perfectly. Alright, when you're ready, you're going to walk your legs back in through centre, release your arms, and then move in slowly, bend one knee at a time. And then pull your knees into your chest again. And just rock gently side to side. So we're going to roll over onto our front now. We're going to do a little bit of work with our shoulders. And it's a little bit of an exploring movement. So onto your front. And have your legs about hip width apart. That gives more space for you to slightly tuck your tailbone to give more length in your lower back. And then you can have your forehead on the mat, or you can have it hovering off the mat. And we're going to do one arm at a time. So if you want to, you can have one arm bent and have your palm down on the mat, and you can rest your forehead on your hand if you want to. And then we've got one arm, we're going to have it down by our side. And then we're going to start to slide that arm out along the floor. So it's like we're doing floor angels the wrong way around. So you're just going to start to slide your arm out along the floor. It's going to come up towards your head. And then it's going to go back down towards your hip. So we're keeping it in contact with the floor and all the way down towards your hip. Let's do that again. So palms down, sweeping up towards your head, and then down towards your side. How about if we play around then with this movement? So how about instead of having the palm down, we externally rotate our arm to try and get the palm facing up. It's not going to go all the way up. But then in that externally rotated position, can you come along? Can you again keep it down towards the floor? But can you start to take that arm up towards your head and then down towards your hip? So I've just kind of got the side of my hand down now. And just playing around with that. playing with the range of movement that you have through your shoulder. As you come down towards your hip this time, we're going to hover that arm off the floor, so just a couple of inches off the floor. And I want you to just play around with this movement now. So just taking your arm again up towards your head, and then bringing it down towards your hip. And as it comes down towards your hip, I want you to allow it to come across your back. So allow that arm to come across your back and bend at the elbow. And then just go again out to the side. So there's no right or wrong with the movement here. So allow your arm to kind of twist and to move around, and you're just exploring the movement. So notice where it feels good, notice where it feels tight. Can you do it with your arm in that external rotation, and then obviously you have to roll it in to take your arm across your back. How far can you twist it and do this movement? Notice as you're moving your arm around here, whether your rib cage is having to press into the mat. Can you keep your rib cage pulled in towards your body? All right, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. So allow that arm to relax. And then let's start on the other side. So palms facing down to begin with, and it's going to sweep along the floor and come up towards your head. So let's just do a few of those first. So you're noticing if it feels different on this side. Checking in with your ribs again, noticing if your ribs are pushing into the mat. Can you keep your ribs, relax them down? And then again, can we go into that little bit of external rotation? So you're going to kind of roll your hand so that the little finger side of the hand is down on the floor. And can you sweep the arm again up towards your head? Just keeping that little finger side of your hand in contact with the floor as you move it around. And then as you come down towards your hip this time, again, let's let our arm hover just a few inches off the floor and just play. Explore that movement, moving your arm around. How many ways can you do it? Letting your arm sweep across your back. It's just about trying to get as much movement into your shoulder as you can. So shoulders are really tricky because they don't just move in one direction. There's so many things going on. They're probably the most complicated joint that we have. Hips are a lot easier than shoulders. So we're just playing. And then as your arm comes down towards your hip this time, we're going to release both hands and we're going to push up and back into child's pose just to give you back a little stretch, just because you've been lying on your front for a little while now. And then reach your arms as far forwards as you can. Really walk your fingertips away from you. And take a couple of deep breaths here. So can you allow the back of your rib cage to expand now? So still reaching those hands as far away from you as you can. Can you lift your palms off the floor so you've just got your fingertips down? So make like little spider hands. Get them as far away from you as you can and stretch. You feel how that stretch, if you've really reached your arms forwards, that stretch comes all the way down past your shoulder blades, down into your kind of mid-back area. Okay, we're going to go back onto our front again now. So when you're ready, come back down onto your front. And we're going to have both hands under your forehead this time, so you can rest your head down on your hands. And we're going to do our hip extension. So again, feet are hip width apart, anchoring your pubic bone and that slight tuck of the tailbone to give length through your lower back. And then you're reaching one leg away from you. You're making that leg as long as you can and allowing it to lift away from the floor and then lowering down and switching to the other side. So take your time and just switch from one side to the other. Trying to keep your pelvis really still. So notice as you lift one leg, whether it's making your pelvis tilt to one side. How's that lower back doing? So we want the lower back to be as relaxed and as quiet as possible, because this is where your glutes and hamstrings, so your bottom and the back of your thigh, should be doing all of this work. Those are big, strong muscles there. Those are designed to do this, to take the leg behind the body. not your back. Reach that leg, make it as long as you can. Don't worry about how high it lifts, it's more important that your bottom and your thigh is doing the work. Good. Alright, and as you lower your leg down this time, again just push yourself up and back into your rest position just to give your back a little stretch. And maybe just shift your weight side to side here. So we're going to go back onto our front again for our quad stretch. So come back down onto your front. And again, you can have one hand under your forehead and you're going to bend one knee. And then you're going to reach that same side hand back to try and grab your ankle. So you can bend your knee and try and grab your ankle. Good. You've always got the option of using a strap if it's particularly tight today. So notice now that you've got your leg in this position, whether you've had to fold at the hip and has your bottom kind of lifted towards the ceiling, has there a space under your hip now? Can you try and find space through this hip to allow it to relax back down into the floor? So you're not trying to force it, you're trying to find space and length through that hip. Have you had to take your knee out to the side? So often to get around tension through the thigh, we'll take the knee out to the side. If you have, can you try and pull that knee back towards the centre line, so kind of back into its own channel where it needs to be. And if that's too much pressure for your knees, just take it to where you can, but know that that's where you're aiming to get to when your quads have given you a little bit more length. Take a few more breaths here. And then release that leg. We're going to do the same on the other side. You're going to bend your other leg. And then again, take your hand back, see if you can grab your ankle. It might be different one side to the other, that's okay. Once you've got it, again, you're noticing, have you had to fold at the hip and lift your hip bone away from the mat? Can you try and find more space there to allow it to relax back down? If you're happy with that, again, notice, have you had to take your knee out to the side? Can you find it back in its own little channel where it should be? That's giving you the best stretch for your quad muscles on the front of your thigh. Couple more breaths here, and then when you've had enough, release that leg. We're going to go back to the first side and we're going to do the inner thigh stretch this time. So you're going to keep your leg down on the floor, but you're going to bend your knee out to the side. So knee bends out to the side, and you're going to notice again whether you've had to, it's almost like you've had to roll onto your side and that hip bone's had to come quite high away from the mat. Can you send your knee out to the side to try and allow that hip bone to come back down onto the mat? So you're trying to get the back of your pelvis as flat as you can, so that we could come and balance a little tray of, I don't know, martinis or something on the back of your pelvis, and they wouldn't be tipping off. Again, that might not be possible today, that might be something that is going to take a little bit of time, but that's where you're aiming to get to. Think about the position of your pelvis now. So thinking about your hip bones, as you've brought your knee out to the side, have you had to hitch one hip up? Can you try and level out your hips? And if you've got no idea, because your proprioception is just not there yet, don't worry about it. But the more you start to be aware of the position of your body, the easier it will get. So this is great for releasing tension through the inner thigh. Also really, really good for the mobility of your hips. So that leg that's out to the side, you're just going to straighten it out. So it's still out to the side, but it's straight now. And again, has your hip had to lift way away from the mat? Can you try and find space to allow it to come back down? How's the back of that pelvis doing? Is it quite flat? Would we spill our martinis? Have a think about those hip bones. Do you think that they're level? I mean, you can put your hand and check. Let's see whether you've hitched one hip up. So again, your body's very clever and it will do what it needs to do to kind of get around tension. And it's not even something, it's not a conscious thing, you don't even think about it, your body just does it. It's very, very, very smart and sneaky. But we don't want to just get around tension, we want to release it. So for me, when I'm in this position, what I'll often then think about doing is kind of sending that hip away from me. So it's almost like I'm pushing that hip away, and that immediately just increases that release and that stretch through that inner thigh. Should we do the same on the other side? When you're ready, you're just going to bend that knee to bring that leg back in through centre. And then we're just going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to turn around because I've got more space on this side. So we're going to start again with that bent knee. So bent knee out to the side. And then once you're there, have again the check. Has that hip bone had to lift way away from the mat? Can you think about sending your knee out to the side to give more space through that hip to allow it to relax back down? Think about your hip bones again here. Again, have you hitched your hip up? Are your hip bones wonky now? Can you try and level them out? Again, maybe think about sending that hip away from you, and perhaps you'll find a little bit more stretch. You might have enough stretch where you are. So I love these little passive stretches. It's a great way of giving your body what it needs without too much effort. You know, you can do this. It's very similar to the legs up the wall pose where you have your legs out to the side, but that one takes a little bit more effort. It's a little bit more active. This one's quite passive, so you can lie like this reading a book or whilst you're on your computer or watching TV. It's energy conserving. It's not lazy, it's energy conserving. Let's straighten that leg out now. So same leg that's out to the side, we're going to straighten it out. Check again, that hip bone, has it lifted away from the mat? Has it hiked up? So again, maybe think about sending that leg away, sending that hip away from you. So this is one of the exercises that I feel gives you the biggest change in the mobility of your hips. And this is one of the exercises that they say you should absolutely do. If you want to keep your own hips for the rest of your life, then you've got to use them and you've got to take them into positions that you don't normally just find in your everyday life. So I don't know about you, but I don't often get into this position while I'm like, you know, shopping and doing my everyday jobs. So while I'm chilling out and watching TV, or while I'm here playing with you guys, it's a good chance to get some good hip stretches in, all the stuff that your body needs. Alright, let's bend that knee, bring that leg back in. Let's again push ourselves up and back into child's pose, just to give your lower back a chance to stretch out and to release any tension or tightness, because often it gets a little bit tight when you've been on your front for a while. Fingers spread wide, thumbs point towards each other and elbow pits are forwards. Take a breath, and as you exhale, you're going to tuck your bottom under, rolling through your spine. So keep tucking that tailbone under, rounding through your lower back. your middle back, your upper back. Let your head just hang between your arms. Take a breath again, and as you exhale, let's go the other way. So you're going to stick your bottom out, roll again through your lower back, your middle back, your upper back. Think about bringing your chest through your arms. Head is the last thing to move. Let's just do a couple more of those in your own time, just moving with the speed of your breath. It should feel good. Your spine likes to move. Keeping a healthy spine, we need to move it in every direction, in every plane, every day. And again, it gives you a chance to see which bits of your spine are moving and which bits are not too happy to move. Alright, and then when you're ready, you can come on off your knees, off your wrists. Just give your wrists a little shake out, hands a little shake out. Circle your wrists around. Just come to any seated position that works for you. Again, we're only going to be here for a minute or two. We're not going to be here too long. Alright, and then let's just do a little bit of releasing any tension through the neck. So dropping your ear down to one shoulder. Let the shoulders relax down. Feeling that really good stretch through your neck, through your chest, through your shoulder. Bring your head up through centre and take it over to the other side. Again, making sure your shoulders pulling down away. Let's go back to that first side, over to the side. Again, drop your ear down to your shoulder, let your shoulders relax. Let's create that extra traction stretch. So you're going to release. You're going to lift this shoulder up towards your ear and you're going to pull it away. So that your head is tipping in one direction, you're pulling your shoulder in the opposite direction, and it's giving even more of a stretch. So just do a couple of those as far as feels nice to you. I mean, you can just hold your head still, but I kind of like that lifting and lowering of the shoulder. Let's do that on the other side. Again. And then bring your head back in through centre when you've done those. Just gently turning your head from side to side. And then let's just circle the shoulders around. And go the other way. And you are all done. Thank you very much.